Welcome to Chaotic Harmony. My name is John.
This is Crystal. We talk about the joys and the challenges of teaching music in the elementary school classroom.
We share struggles, we brainstorm solutions.
And we would love to have you join us.
Welcome to another episode of Chaotic Harmony, episode 109. Wow, that's a number. I'm your host today, Jonathan Seligman, and today we have a fantastic array of folks with us. We have the one who brings the fun, Jamie John. Hey, Jamie.
That's right.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Even if it is hurtful to Mr. Seligman here. But alas. Moving on. It's all good. We all good. We have another one with us, another Arosa friend, the sensible one, Jasmine Mah. Hello, Jasmine.
Hello.
Hello, hello. And lastly, the YouTube queen, the six with the mix of faces. I'm just gonna end right there. Just two is good. Miss Sasha Stone. Yo, how's it going?
Amazing.
Amazing. Oh, I feel like that energy's not matching it, but it's all good. We're recording
I'm trying not to be hurt by not being called the sensible one.
I mean, okay, of the four of us that was there during that video game shindig, like, I feel like Jasmine was the most sensible of the four of us. Like,
oh, okay. So you're including yourself as
yes, very
not
much
the
so.
most sensible. Oh, okay.
100%.
I'll
I
allow
was
it
just
now.
the least likely to dunk compared to y'all.
I will
That's
say,
true. That's
unbiasedly, yours has the strongest, I feel like, personally. But we'll get to that rigmarole in a bit. We'll get to that rigmarole
It's
in a
all
bit.
good.
So we're recording right now on a Monday, and how was this is the Monday after daylight savings. So how was daylights for your kiddos today? Not great, Sasha.
I think it was just user error.
User error. What do you mean? Expound.
Me, I was the problem.
Oh, you're the problem. It's you.
Mm-hmm. I was very tired.
I'm sorry to hear that.
That's okay. It's Monday.
It's Monday. Yeah,
It is Monday.
Yeah, it was hard for me. I was unfortunately out sick today. So,
Oh,
yeah,
no.
I know it's been like a slew of things, whatnot, a lot of things happening in my personal life in a positive realm. But also, yeah, I don't know. Should I say? That's
Yeah,
weird.
you should. Why not?
Okay, fine.
I think you should.
Okay, I just got
Yeah,
engaged.
just show it.
So I got engaged, yeah. And funnily enough, the day
Yeah.
after my engagement, this first grader comes up to me, and she has no clue what's going on. And she makes this bracelet of to our audio listeners. It's the one with like elastic bands, whatnot, and it's all very cute. It's like, here, made this for you, Mr. Slogman. I also made one for your finger. Do you want it? It's like, heck yeah. So I put on my ring finger. So yeah, it's been a wonderful slew of things, but also very busy time and whatnot. So my health is just kind of like, I gotta just take it easy for today. But yeah. Anyway, well, speaking of energy, this is Chaotic Harmony, the weekly podcast where we talk about the joys, struggles, and all things adjacent to elementary music. A bit of housekeeping before we start. Last week we had Sasha chat about her growing up with a learning disability and how that has influenced how she is an amazing music educator and how she is a great empathizer to her students. Next week we will have our 100th episode. Kind of. We're going to be celebrating it because, this is episode 109, but we'll be celebrating it. Crystal and I will be reflecting on the past 6 years we've been doing this podcast, but we need your help. If you'd like to write in and send something our way on air to be read on the episode, we'd love to read it. So email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com with the subject CH100. We'd love to read your memories and criticisms on air, especially if it's about Marc. We'd also love to have a special announcement. Oh, no, not love. We do have a special announcement for you, so you don't want to miss that. So stay tuned for next week. So y'all, this episode's going to be released on March the 12th. And 5 years ago, on the 13th, the world changed forever. No, the Fire Nation did not attack. But worse than that, we had the whispers of a virus spreading from across the seas. And a lot of us thought it would be like SARS or H1N1. And it wouldn't affect us that bad, but lo and behold, it did. On the 13th of March, 2020, schools across the world shut down. So, since we all live in different parts of the state, what was it like for you guys? Where were you at? Where were you when COVID hit? So feel free to jump in.
I was a college student
College
on
student.
spring
Oh.
break. Ooh.
Okay. Senior year?
No, my junior year.
Junior year, okay.
It was my junior year of college. I had just finished field work with a high school choir and my elementary field work. And I was the RA at the time, and we went on spring break, and then we got an email that we had to pack all of our things and leave as
How
soon as
is
possible.
how is that for you?
It was really like, I don't know, for me, it felt like a fever dream because I was on duty as an RA, so my phone was just blowing up with people being like, please unlock the door, please let me in. I
Sure,
have to move my
sure.
stuff out. I'm out of state. Can you hold my things? What to do? But for me, it was like because there was such a long waiting period, a lot of me in my class described it as like the spring break we never returned from.
Mm.
Because by the time like everyone was back in person, I had a full-time job.
So you lost your junior and senior year.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
So yeah, I graduated online. Like all of my student teaching was online, give or take like one or two hybrid classes.
Hmm. What was promotion like for you? Or sorry,
It was
promotions for little kids, graduations for big kids. So what was graduation like for you?
it was very anticlimactic.
Sure.
I was literally on the couch. My family was there with me. They just like it was like a pre-recorded Zoom. And then they were like, "Oh, here are the graduates." And it was like a slide of each of us. And then so like my family, it was just us, like me and my immediate family got some food to go. And then when they said my name, they're like, "Woo!" And then we turned off the Zoom and that was it.
Gosh.
We're like, "Okay, that's
Condolences.
it."
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Sasha, how about you? Like, where were you when you found the news? How did
Uh,
you deliver that to your kids, etc.?
um, like how did my school or how did I? Or
Did
just
you at
in
all?
general?
Or yeah, just in general. Yeah.
Um, so my birthday was the Monday before, and so I was celebrating my birthday on the 13th at like a little place near where I work, and there was no one there, and we got the email that we would not be returning on Monday. The Monday, like so it's Friday, we got the email about Monday. So it was kind of a weird week, and I remember feeling like, oh, I was teaching. Sorry, is that what the question was? I was teaching.
Okay. Okay.
I was it was
Let the record show.
I just you know how logical like
Sure.
my stream is.
It's all
Anyway,
good.
I was in my second and a half year. So I was in that my third year of teaching when that
Hmm.
happened. And yeah, it was like you said, like fever dream, like that whole week leading up to it, it just felt like it was getting closer and closer and closer. And then LA announced they were closing. And then I don't know about your districts, but anytime LA does anything, our district tends to follow it because that's the biggest in our
Mm.
state. So it kind of like was a domino effect from LA and all these other districts that were larger in the state and across the country closing.
Yeah. Was it similar to you, Jamie?
It's hard to remember 5 years ago.
Sure. I mean, it's 5 years
No,
that feels
but
like nine, honestly.
yeah.
Mm.
Well, I do remember something was happening in the news. Like there was talk about things going on. But, actually I was really focused on um my school at that time. I was teaching, and that was I had just switched teaching jobs, switched districts. And so that was the academic year that I was starting my new job
Mm.
at this new school with new teachers and new everything. And I was just trying to get my bearings at that school and trying to like take over someone who had been there for like decades and then just retired. And then suddenly they have me, a completely different and new teacher and younger. And so I remember that day we had a meeting. And we were called in for an emergency staff meeting, and the principal said that we're closing. We are going to be distance learning. We're going to be at home, shelter in place, all of that. And then to wait until further notice to figure out what to do, basically.
Yeah.
That was like the main memory of what happened 5 years ago.
Hmm. For me, it was a
Yep.
little, I was my, I think, third year. third year or fourth year teaching, and we were supposed to have our district-wide Vapa festival the week after. And I had heard a lot of stuff that was going on, but as I said earlier, I didn't take it as seriously because just there have been epidemics that have hit us before, but we've nothing to the extent that was being told to me. And yeah, we unfortunately had to close the Vapa festival, and I decided to pull my choir in just because like this was the way my roommate, because he was like listening to a lot of stuff, whatnot. His wedding was literally the week before, so he was just constantly like, "What's happening? What's happening?" And so he's listening to like all the news that's going on, and so like he took it very seriously, more seriously than I did at the time. And so since I knew it was gonna be a kind of a relatively big deal, I would pull my kids in and just be just shared, "Hey, this is what's up. What's up? I'm not sure what's gonna happen, but I'll still be communicating with you, whatnot." And so we sang one song, we pieced out, and yeah, it was the last time I saw those kids for a while. So after that, though, I know each state kind of delved into how they approached COVID differently. But before we get into that, like, what did you guys do during your time off? Did you service your students, or like, what did you do personally?
We, in my district, there's 12 elementary music teachers, and so each of us took a grade, two of
Mm,
us. So mine was kinder or first. I think it was kinder. And so we split that up and we did pre-recorded lessons, basically one lesson a week. And we shared that across all of the students in the district. So my students would have, two teachers from one site, two teachers from another in these videos or PowerPoints that we worked through. We did a lot of escape rooms. We did a lot of choice board for the rest of the year. And then office hour type open sessions where students could just pop in. But when it came to that was for the remainder of the 2019-2020 school year. So that was, that immediate thing. I was teaching, but no contact, no zooming with children. It was all asynchronous.
gotcha, gotcha. Yeah. Was anyone else different or similar? I mean, Jasmine. Maybe I'll ask you
For
after I get
me,
Jamie
yeah.
a special one. But Jamie, I'll get to you first. Jamie, what was it like for you?
I think I think we started Zooming fairly not like right away, but fairly in a timely manner.
Hmm.
And so with our district, I think they, especially the tech team, pulled together to to figure out like this is what the schools are doing, this is what the teachers are doing, this is what the specialists are doing. And so it was we did some I don't think they started using the term synchronous and asynchronous lessons yet, but that definitely started to like be more set in stone later on that year, especially the start of the next year after, about setting a schedule and setting up like having prepared asynchronous lessons, and then where we pre-recorded things or had like a Google Classroom set up, or more like not really have a Google Classroom set up, more like we could access other teachers' Google Classrooms.
Hmm.
And like we had to suddenly like do a lot of like quick professional development and YouTube videos of how to use Flipgrid, how to use Google Classroom, how to use all these different, how to use Zoom, how to do all these different things. Yeah, it was like a tech boot camp for all of us.
Yeah. Um,
Hmm.
what was the modality of like you said Google Classroom was for you, your platform. Sasha, did you use Google Classroom or was it something else?
We used Google Classroom.
Okay.
And then we had made a Google website for our students across the district that they could use as well. So for VAPA.
Hmm. Yeah. For us, I feel like Google was we kind of had a partnership with Microsoft, so we really focused on Teams for better and for worse. I know if Mark was here to say for worse or for worse, but yeah, that was what we were stuck on. But Jasmine, I'm curious from the student perspective. What
For
was it?
us, there was a
Yeah.
long pause. Like that's why I was like, it was spring break. We just never
Hmm.
returned to campus for like it was like spring break and they're like, we're still working on stuff. And then all since the districts were still trying to solve whatever was going on and like how to get student teachers back in to the system, we were just taking our regular classes on Zoom. So it was very interesting to take orchestra class on Zoom, but you couldn't play together, so everyone would just mute, and then our conductor would like conduct for us, and we just be playing along while everyone else was muted, or they play like a recording and we play along with the recording. But it took a lot of getting used to. Like we used Canvas as like our main source of like talking, but to get used to Zoom and especially being in like performing ensembles, it didn't feel the same.
Sure.
And it was very like hard to not see people in person, especially if it was like I used to see people every day, or like I was in my dorm room and my best friend was like right next to me, but we couldn't see each other because we weren't sure, and we both had families with those who are immunocompromised. So if anything were to happen, like we were just trying to play it as safe as possible. So it was really hard to just be like, okay, I'm stuck in this apartment and I don't want to go outside because I don't want to accidentally bump into somebody. But it was a very long
Hmm.
getting used to that.
I get you there. Yeah. I feel like for me, it was kind of a unique situation. Yes, all that like learning, but I felt like and it's weird to say this, but I kind of enjoyed it. I enjoyed learn like because for a long time, and we, as Jamie, you mentioned it on the podcast, like we talk on this podcast a lot, this notion of imposter syndrome, and I felt like for the first time, I felt leveled with everyone else. Like I was the nerd that knew how to do tech. And meanwhile, there's some amazing people like Lowry, like Andrea, who were on the same page as I was. And I know that's not a great perspective, but at least it gave me the time to focus on, okay, a craft. Like for a similar, I think it was Sasha mentioned, making stuff for your kids. Like I had made so many YouTube videos, and that was the first time I started getting into videography. And Mark and I had this like competitive element, and whatnot, where I'd make a video and say, hey, John, my video got 100 views. How many yours get? It's like, oh, shut up. And so we had like a fun bout, whatnot. And also, it was like because I don't know if you guys know this, I work a little too much. Um,
That's also part of the reason why you get sick often.
shh, shh.
Stop that.
Such an understatement, Jonathan.
Yeah.
But the thing was, being forced to be indoors forced me to be with my roommates. And it was a really special time. I remember the first week, my one of my roommates, he's a musician, and he is someone that only learns how to read music like only learns how to play music by reading music. He cannot play by ear because it's just this mental apprehension of the conservatory system. And so me being able to like do a little Orff lesson with him was like really cool and whatnot. Was there any like positive elements in the communities that you lived in that you were able to like be close or amongst your VAPA teachers or amongst your classmates that COVID provide for you?
Well, I think for us, because we got on the bandwagon of Zoom and everything fairly, not really quickly, but fairly quickly, we're able to meet more often
Hmm.
through Zoom. We're able to collaborate more often with our team and a lot of it kind of like you, a lot of our other team members were able to like shine with how techie they were. And so we could just contact them and be like, how do you do this? How do you do that? And they really like were able to send resource after resource after resource of everything that happened. And when we did meet, uh I feel like especially for my mentors at the time who are retired now, I kind of gained some solace in what they said that this is the time to take care of yourself,
Hmm.
give yourself a lot of grace. And like what there are the people who were able to shine with like how well they're able to navigate all the technology. And then there are people who are kind of in the middle like me. I can sort of get it, but I'm not the best at it. And then there are people who are really struggling with the technology. It, what they said was really helpful. We're all doing the best that we could in the capacities that we were able to. And this is an unprecedented time.
Yeah,
This is
heard
such
that a
an
lot.
extreme, yeah, exactly. It was such an extreme situation. We can't compare ourselves to the people who are able to shine in that way. That's great for them. But whatever we're able to do with the skills that tech skills that we have is exactly what we can provide and exactly the best that we can do and take solace in that,
Hmm.
basically.
I think my cohort and I got really close because a lot of us ended up leaving. like university because the mindset was like, if this is what teaching is going to be, this isn't what I want to do. So a lot of people chose to take a break on their degree. So then us in our little cohort of people, I think ended up becoming really close because we felt like, oh my gosh, if I can talk to someone about this, someone in my cohort will be there for me. And it got us into a lot of online gaming. Oh my gosh, League of Legends. Crazy. But it was like so fun to get to know each other because at first, I'll be honest, in university, like I would stay with my small group of friends that I knew really well or that studied with me, but it got me a different viewpoint of their teaching styles, especially with Zoom teaching, because we didn't have classes to teach, so we had to teach each other.
Mm.
So it was like, oh my gosh, I've been trying to solve like how to explain like bowing to one of my students, and you worded it perfectly, and it's recorded, so I can take it back and I could bring it back and like replay it for myself, or I could have a conversation about it. But it's been very interesting to see all of like us progress as teachers, especially since we had um most of our student teaching online. So when we came in, we were like, oh, real children. I can't mute you. I can't move you to I can move you to a breakout room, but I can't move all of you to the
Right.
breakout room.
I,
Like, so it was very interesting that transition. But to see us all grow, because all of us, like, from what I know, all of us are still teaching. We see each other at CASMEC every year and check in on each other. And it's great that I know I have that community with me because of what we went through with COVID.
Before I get to Sasha, were the people that stuck in the program, are you all still teachers? Are you still in the profession, all of you?
We all are still teachers in
Mm,
California area, and we all still keep in touch quite often
that's cool.
about things we might be looking into of like, because we're all in different levels, like high school, middle school, elementary. So if we all are interested in something, we know who to contact down the
Are you
grapevine.
also the same group of people who went to Japan recently together?
That was some of us. That was half of us.
Ah, some of half of you. Nice.
Yes.
I would say that at least with my community, I didn't live in my community at the time. I was living, outside of where my students went to
Mm,
school.
yeah.
And so the community that I lived in went through a lot of changes, just with a lot of the transient people who were living out of their cars. They were displaced, and you could see it versus how, they live out of their car, they park it, they go to work, it was very different during those times. So personally, it was kind of a weird, I'm not quite sure what's going on. And my partner and I were living together at the time, and we had moved in maybe like a year prior. So it was kind of, you never know what's going to happen it was the most time we'd ever spent together after the third week. Um, so that, like, personally, that was very interesting. But as far as my music teacher community, my team, we would meet on Zoom about once a week, and it was supposed to be kind of like, how is, how are your lessons? How is the online? How is this? How is that? But it was just us. Um, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, complaining about different things. A lot of them have had children at home, so they're trying to teach their we're trying to record, and they have their 4-year-old who is needing attention. It's just like that. It gave me a lot of respect for my team and all of the stuff that they do.
Mm.
Because I don't have children of my own. And so just because I saw it, because we would spend so much time online kind of supporting each other.
One thing that really stuck with me that you shared was we really saw how different everyone lived, especially during, as we in California, we stayed online for a whole half year. When did you, yeah, actually, before I get into my little spiel, Jamie, when did you guys go back in person? What month?
We started hybrid the year after.
The whole year? Like the fall of 2022? Oh, okay. How about you, Sasha?
We were back in person, hybrid, like October 2020.
No, I
October.
meant like
So
October 2020.
you
So
were
that
you working with kids like in live?
no, I was not. I
Okay.
was That's a whole nother story. But students were back on campus October 2020.
Nice.
2 days on. It That's a whole nother thing. But so
Gotcha.
yeah, back in
Yeah.
person. Just the scheduling was kind of interesting.
Gotcha. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Jamie, go for it.
sorry, I meant the spring of 2021 was when
Okay.
they started hybrid.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that
Yeah.
was similar to me as well. Yeah, spring of
Okay.
2021 was us as well. I was talking with I didn't know that people in S- San Diego County were doing in person that early. Wow. Wow. Um, yeah. But like I remember when we were doing online based, music teaching, it was a big element of we saw what our kids were going through and like there's a facade I feel like or an illusion that when we work with our kids in the classroom, they're all the same person. They all have the same level, because they're in our classroom. They we see them and there's the expectations they do what we do, they follow our directions. And teaching online, we definitely had a chance to see, wait, no, there is huge disparities. As little as like internet, or as we could see also that like there are 5 kids in the living room with our students. There was a level of empathy that I think none of us had experienced or will experience for a while, hopefully ever. But yeah, I hear that.
The insight into our students' lives was very interesting. I like that you brought that up because, like you said, there's some kids were completely independent and they were on their computer, and mom and dad or their caretakers were in the other room working because they need to provide for their families. And then there's kids whose I can see their parent out of screen saying, "You need to respond. You need to respond." So it's like the depth of that, what their living situation looks like, where they're learning from. Is it from the couch? Is it from a do they have a designated space? And it definitely there's things that clicked. Oh, okay. I understand why maybe this student was this way in my classroom, physically in my classroom, because I see what his home life or their home life looks like,
Mhm.
physically looks like. Unless you're doing home visits, you're not really getting that very, very intimate knowledge of how their family, their home life functions.
And in the 21st century, there are not a lot of opportunities or people. In the 21st century, there's not a safety element to actually do as many home visits as there used to be. I feel like for understandable reasons. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, like that level of being able to connect with our students in order to see and empathize, like was wild. Was there any fun
There were
story?
Yeah, there were just so many times where, like, so at that time, I was living with my cat and my dog. And so, of course, my cat Finn would be crawling along, or my dog Pebble would be here wanting attention, or sometimes she'd be in my lap while I'm trying to teach something. And then when it was time for the Zoom to start, I was like, "Oh, where is everybody? It's only a few of us. I guess we'll just wait. Oh, by the way, here's my dog." And then so like they would show their pets or their iguana or their hamster or whatever, and then or their 5 cats or their 10 dogs in some households. And then more of them started popping into the Zoom. More of them. And then they would be like, "Oh, we're doing show and tell. Here's mine." And so like half to most of the lesson was just a show and tell of our
Hmm.
pets.
Hmm.
That happened
That's
multiple times, which was great. I'm like, yeah, I'll take it.
For me, it freaked me out when I was student teaching when that would happen because I lived on a ranch, so I would have to go outside to get the best signal. But then, like, I would have like a cow in the background, like
Oh
walking, or
no.
a chicken or something, and then all I see is my kids lift up their Chromebooks or lift up something, and they'd be running around the
Mm.
house and they'd be shaking like crazy until they got to like the animal or whatever they saw in my background on a book or on a plate. And I was like, okay, that's great, but please come back to your go back to your room. Please, like we gotta get through with the lesson. I have my TPA. Like, please, I need you to get back this way.
You want to clarify what EdTPA is for people not from
Yeah.
California?
A TPA is one of the exams to get your credential cleared for a single subject or a multiple subject, but it consists of taking videos and typing in like procedures. It's pretty much learning how to check the boxes of like, are you following the standards? Are you able to explain why you're utilizing these teaching methods with support from research or from specific like ideologies? Um, but it's a really important exam that you had to get done, and we had to get it done online teaching. So there was some changes to the protocol.
Just a few? Just some?
There was a lot. Well, for me, my district did not allow me to record any students' faces or use their names. So for my projects, I wasn't allowed to use any, like the video was of me teaching like to the side, and then you just had to hear them talk and they had to use aliases. So I had a high
Huh.
school orchestra at the time, and they all decided to name themselves after movie characters. So I was like,
Oh.
"Oh, Mr. Jackie Chan, what is your answer for blah blah
I
blah
love that.
in our intonation unit?" Like, but it was a very interesting because I tried to get as much material as possible, so I also did it in grade school, but it was just a mix of information because you have to like justify why you're doing things or why you don't have a video or a camera on where I was like, I can't because my district won't let me.
Sasha, do you have any random things that happened during that whole shindig?
Yeah. Um, when we were back in hybrid in October, specials because they didn't want us to cross-contaminate the entire school. We had like the learning bubbles. Uh, we would we had to do a recorded lesson for students, and then we had to do a live lesson. So students, when they weren't at school, that's when they had their special. So that was a whole thing. But I was teaching from my classroom, and I was in a portable that at the time was there's another teacher that was her first classroom, and she had been teaching for 20 something years at that point. So the portable is however old. And um, so I can see myself, right? You're like because you never look at anyone but yourself when you're on Zoom, right? Well, okay, maybe that's just me. But so I'm like watching myself because no one has their camera on. And in behind me, I see a mouse fall from my ceiling. And we had to record because we had to post for the students who didn't attend. So that was a very, it's like, what do you do in this situation? So it just falls, and then I hear all the girls and boys and everyone just going, ah! And I saw it like out of the corner of my eye. So then the kids thought it was hilarious. And then what do you do? How do you bring that back? Like dance party, I guess. Yeah. So
Yeah, pretty
that
much.
and students who had been in my classroom, like the kindergartners had no idea. They'd never been in my classroom, but those there was I've had snakes in there, I've had rabbits in there. I've just because I was out by the field. So that's a whole nother thing. But I think that's my fun story.
Wow.
I'm sure there's a video of it somewhere.
Because you're recording it, right?
I did, yeah, and it was on the Google
Yeah.
Classroom, but I don't I
It's on
couldn't
the
tell you
OneDrive
now.
somewhere
It's
or something
somewhere. It's in the cloud.
in the cloud. It's in the ceiling. It's on the floor. It's everywhere.
It's probably named IMG underscore 456.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. One thing I try to do with my students was just for like a little warm up. I've been known by the San Diego Orf secretary, Jasandra, who's been on our podcast. Um, I'm known to ask a lot of just stupid questions, like
There's no such thing as a
no,
stupid
no, 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 no,
question.
no, no, no. Like is cereal soup? You know, those kinds of questions that are icebreakers. And I really feel like that COVID opened up that door, can of worms.
I
So
mean, it's a nice icebreaker, right? Is a
Mhm.
hot dog a sandwich?
I mean, yes, yes, it is. But alas, not everyone shares the same kind of sentimental feels with this. But yeah, I've been knowing not just it's a lot of my colleagues in Julius. Oh yeah, Jonathan has his questions. But also one thing I tried doing with my students was the whole lag clap thing. It's like, all right, the beginning of class, let's just everyone turn on our microphones. Let's see if we can clap together. Let's see if we can break the internet and clap together. And if it works, then when we do another like I really hated the term drive by, but we did, the drive bys. Like there's a lot of connotations where drive-bys, can we find another word than that? But when we delivered our materials every quarter, if they were able to do the clap, I would give them, I forget what it was something I gave them. And it actually worked. They actually were able to clap together. Yeah. What I'm guessing what happened is the sixth graders found out, oh, okay, if I don't clap and it just look like I'm clapping, less room for error. So that's what happened. But lo and
Should we
behold,
try?
you want to try it? Let's try it.
Should we
Ready?
try
Okay, well, hold on.
it? Turn on
Ready?
turn on your mic.
Turn on your microphones. All y'all. Ready? One, two, three. That was
Oh,
terrible. That was terrible.
it's definitely my internet is the problem.
uh, we are
We
also
can do it
cross state.
again.
Let's try again. One more time. Ready? One, two, three.
I was in time. I
We
don't know about you.
were
I was
we were
like,
in time by like 16th notes there, but
Tika, Tika.
My 30-second notes.
yeah, crushed it. You guys get a donut. I don't know. So a lot has happened since coming back. And I don't want to spend too much time. It's easy for us to focus on the low-hanging fruit, but it's pretty evident students before COVID are very different than students after COVID. How would you describe? I mean, for Jasmine, they are what they are for you, but even then, I'm sure you could. No, no, never mind. Yeah,
no,
it's
in
just
student
different.
teaching, there was some differences though.
Okay, so let's label them.
Like
Like, what? How would you describe the differences for Jasmine student teaching, or for all y'all like pre-COVID to currently?
for me, I've noticed like at least student teaching, because I was in a completely different district, so I can't really state like, but even like when I was observing students in person before COVID had hit, to when we went into hybrid, there was a lot more anxiety I've seen in the students when we were in hybrid. Like a lot of my students, when I was able to see them in person, like part of my older students, I saw a sense of relief that they saw I was an actual person and not just
Mm.
this person talking through the screen, because they saw me in person to pick up their violins and they're like, you're real and you're short. And I was like, and you're tall.
Isn't that great?
But it was like a shocking, because that was also like the first time we all went to go get our textbooks as college students, and that was the first time any of us had seen each other in an entire year
Mm.
in person. And all of us didn't know how to like interact. We were just kind of stuck. And I felt like a lot of my younger students when I was student teaching for elementary were the same way, where they're like, I don't know what to do. And a lot of them I felt like were just kind of like frozen, because I
Mm.
would ask questions or I'd try to engage the class. And then sometimes I just get like stares. And I feel like it was so much going on. Like they were in their like little plastic huts at that time. And there was so much going on. And I was this person that they saw online once a week, maybe if their internet was working. And then I'm here as this random person in the classroom trying to teach them music, but they can't be too close and they can't sing, but they can talk, but not too loud. But all of these other rules going on, like I just felt like there was so much going on that it was like numbing
Sure.
in a sense, or like just overwhelming.
The way you put that really makes me think. Like it's one thing to I felt that, but to have you say it makes me recontextualize. Yeah, there was a lot of stimulus that they were just not used to. Um, Speaking of the short element, like there was a kid, there was a fourth grader who like just took up the whole screen because he would just constantly be up right at the camera, and then when he finally came in person, he's like, "Wow, you're as tall as my knee. Like you're a fourth grader. It's like that's just a different." Um, so yeah, but as small as just like, oh, you're an actual person in three dimensional. We talked about that as adults a lot, but for a kid trying to understand the world, that was That's huge. Yeah.
I felt like for me, maybe this year or this or last year felt maybe like my first year teaching again, where I finally felt kind of settled. I feel that each year after COVID, it felt like the first year teaching. Everything was new. There's different expectations for the students, there's different expectations for staff. Since we've come back from being online and hybrid, my school has grown by at least
Oh wow.
200 students. Yeah, we were at 700 and now we're at 930.
You want to
So,
send some down here? Oh wow.
yes,
We'd have the
yeah,
opposite.
yeah. And the rest of my district has declining enrollment, as many schools do, but my school is new, so people are wanting to be there. Naturally, they want to send their students to the best place you know, that they can. So I get that. And I think something I noticed was my whatever year, and I can't remember, maybe they're in second grade now, where when they were in kindergarten, they didn't have any type of preschool or TK or any of that because they were three and in 2020, so they didn't do that. I saw a big difference in how they were social on the playground. So, for example, I don't know, any kindergartner I could go to now and be like, "Hey, this person needs a friend. Do you want to play with them?" And they go, "Yeah," and they run away and they're so happy. Um, or they like to share. There's like that kind of that socialization of this is how I play with other kids.
Hmm.
That group did not have it for a few years. They'd be like, "Well, I don't want to play with you." I'm like, "Whoa, that's really aggressive. What do you mean?" And so it was kind of that, how do we navigate their social cues in a way that is developmentally appropriate, but also we want them to play together. We know they learn so much through play, but they haven't had the opportunity, so they don't know how. And it was really interesting to see them grow. And I've seen a difference in my classroom that first year versus now, how they just interact with each other, interact with equipment, interact with materials, and it's not their fault. They just their families, their adults were keeping them safe and isolated, and you know
Doing what they
s-
can.
they did
Yeah.
what they could, but they didn't have preschool, TK, any of that to kind of get them ready for the first day of kindergarten.
Sure, sure.
I I noticed a lot less impulse control, a lot less regard for each other, a lot more pseudo maturity.
Mm.
And when I speak to that, I mean fourth and fifth graders who are not willing to play, not willing to like um it could also be because like they're like especially the fifth graders were starting to get into the middle school mindset, but it was even in fourth grade too, a lot of like pseudo maturity where there's like, oh, I'm too cool to do this sort of thing. And so with the impulse control, as soon as we walked into the room before I could say anything, just running around in circles, and a few of the boys. And it took a while to get them to like finally come and join me. And then with the regard, it was very much wanting a turn, every time with any game. It was very difficult for them to be okay with waiting even just one turn for a turn. And so, and that was definitely the most apparent with my first graders. The youngest children I saw, like even now, is first grade. I don't typically see kindergarten or preschool or
Mm.
anyone younger than that in
Okay.
my district. So it was very apparent in first grade, but also in second and in third grade that like I want to turn. And then after giving him a turn, they want to turn again, even though there's 20 or 30 other children in the
Right.
class. Yeah.
Mhm.
So it took a lot of consistency, a lot of work to get them to see, oh, did you notice this person is also waiting for a turn? Did you notice? Do you see this person? They're also waiting for a turn. Do you see what they're doing? And you know what? If you wait long enough, you might get one too. You might get another turn. You
Hmm.
might. It was a lot of work.
Sure.
I
I
feel
like
like,
what you go for, Jasmine.
sorry, I was like, I feel like that happened though because they always felt like the teacher was looking straight at them. They were the only
Hmm.
one in the
Oh,
room.
mm.
Yep.
They were the one getting the attention at that time.
And
And
even
when
if,
coming back in person, they're like, here's the person who would give me attention right here in person. Okay, I'm ready.
yeah,
But there's how many of them in the room now?
but also at home, it's usually whoever's a caregiver giving them that attention too, giving them what they needed almost immediately, whether it was like, oh, you need a snack, we're already home, here's a snack. If you need to use the restroom, we're already home, use the restroom. Or whatever the turns they needed or whatever, however the availability of the caregiver was, most of the time they were able to attend to those needs for a lot of the children. And yes, there was that too. And if they did need to say something, then we could mute them.
But also, like I like what you said about in the household, and I feel like we've talked about this a lot, so I'm not going to get too much in depth, but not just what they need, but what they want. And so there's been a lot of placating with different things that really activate their stimulus. The conversation about screens, which that's a long conversation, which you don't get into. But like there's been, I agree with you, Jamie. Like there's this element that either it was done to the teacher, from the teacher to the screen to the student, or it was the parent just trying to get them to be placating through different means that was immediate. But I like what you said also, Jamie, about pseudo maturity. My students, my first batch of sixth graders, I'm going to change it, not pseudo maturity, but varying levels of maturity, whether it's pseudo or whether it is just understanding themselves. I always tell my coworkers, my first batch of sixth graders when they came back were the thirstiest sixth graders I've ever had. Just like they also they were the ones that really understood or were the most open to exploring their own sexual identity as well, like referring like trying to understand are what is my am I they them, am I she
Oh.
her. And then the following batch of fifth graders, it was like I saw the election, like a whiplash of like a lot of toxicity. Like, oh, I'm too. Not only am I too cool for this, but also like, oh, that's stupid. That's what the other people did, and it was really wild to see that in action. Now this batch of sixth graders now are chill, but but it was like, I feel like there's been varying levels of maturity since coming out of COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was very apparent with our feeder middle schools too,
Mm.
when like the children that we had back in distance learning at the start of distance learning, and then when we finally came back out of it, then they were middle schoolers. They didn't they didn't develop all the stuff about community building and everything. And then they were suddenly put into middle school. And then we heard all this, like, I don't know about all of you, but some of us heard stories of our neighboring middle schoolers becoming like really extreme with like all the fights and the detentions and suspensions and things that were happening that was more so than usual. There was a lot of toxicity happening.
Sorry, 1 second. Adjust something.
I was like, did we lose you for a second?
No, it's the video. The video. We lost the video. There we go.
Yeah, you're blurry now.
Yeah, just a bit.
Now it should be good. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey.
Hey.
Um, it's becoming a longer conversation. That's good. But going into this whole element of student maturity, waiting a turn, have you noticed now that we are multiple years, we're 5 years now out of COVID, are you still seeing this same symptoms? Sasha, you're nodding your head.
Yes, I feel that there's the 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 extremes on both sides, extreme behavior, extreme attention seeking, and I'm not saying in a negative way, but students who need just so much of your time and energy and love. Um, I feel that the extremes have gotten more per grade level. in the past, you'd have maybe one extreme behavior in one grade level for 1 year,
Mm.
and now I'm seeing there's extreme behaviors and in many, many grade levels and many students. And the same with the love side of it. And I don't think it's necessarily their fault. I don't know. I don't have children of my own, so I don't know if maybe what's developmentally appropriate has shifted, or they have more access to technology than they did before.
Mm.
But I feel like the outliers of good and bad have um, only increased each year since um, the pandemic started.
Interesting. The outliers of good and bad have increased. I have this one choir student. We're working on a piece just about being a good person. um, and one kid just shouted, I don't want that. And like I just never thought to that level of like I would need to teach a level of empathy that you don't want, like of just being a good person. Um, yeah, so like, I'm noticing similarly, like just the yeah, like, you placed it succinctly. The outliers are increasing. Um, yeah,
I guess it just depends on where you are as or not specifically where you are, but like who else is in the village? Who else is in part of your community?
mm,
Because I would agree with the outliers statement. I think we're still if you have a good team of people, a good community of like parents and staff working on it, then it's manageable. It becomes like manageable for a lot of things. I definitely see the outliers. Like, I mean, you both were talking about you're on opposite ends of the state, and you're both talking about fifth graders having a fifth grade classes, and you're having such a hard time with them. I have uh I have a couple of fourth grade classes that are kind of like that, but it's actually for different reasons. I think because of all the wars that have been happening and going on, we have a
sure.
lot of refugees. We
Yeah,
have so many different refugees. And so that's part of it. There are just so many different factors that are involved in it, you know? And obviously COVID is definitely one of them, but I feel like it depending on who you talk to, some people will say, "Oh yeah, the kids are not any different than before." And I'm like, I I don't know if I agree with that because we're still seeing so many kids, so many students who are, if you like backtrack to see like where were they during COVID times, then it kind of says a lot about where they are now,
sure.
right? Or it explains a lot of what they're doing now.
Eh,
And so we're still I feel like it's there are some of the things that are a lot less depending on what community you're in, which is why I was bringing that up. I still see those outliers, but at the same time it's manageable depending on who you're teaming up with.
That's where I get confused though. Because for me, I was like, th this was my starting point.
Yeah,
So then, like, I'd hear some teachers tell me, oh, this is perfectly normal. Like, they've always been like this. And then I hear other teachers telling me, this is a huge change from what teaching is. And we're going to have to adjust to it. So it's hard for me to see, like, both sides when, like, I'm like, this is my starting ground. Like, I'm seeing these behaviors and I'm learning how to adjust from them. And then I have some people telling me, like, oh, it will all go back to normal. And I was like, I don't even know what normal was.
this is
It's
This
normal.
also
is my normal.
Yeah,
it's hard to tell too because there are some teachers who have just been in one school for many years
sure.
and they're only seeing one one site in one community. Yeah, they're the teachers who do move, but I feel like us specialists who see across all the grades,
Yeah,
then I feel like we have a bigger we can just because of our position, we have idea of seeing the bigger picture than what a lot of other teachers do. Like classroom teachers are not going to see as big of a view as some of us do, who are either at one site and are seeing all the grade levels, or some of my previous jobs with teaching at multiple sites and seeing it happening across everywhere else. I'm seeing it in so many different places how different everybody is.
yeah. Yeah, I'm sure those who I have a friend of ours. Well, we've had earlier episode we had Roblyn who was at 8 school sites. I'm really curious as she goes between those 8 different the 8 different communities what she sees. Yeah. Um, my question for you because we talked about the whole. No, not my brain's my brain wants to go somewhere. Let's not do that. um, my my thing is as we talked all about COVID. Um, and we've shared a lot about different things that we've get garnered, whatnot. Um, is there anything that happened during the whole mess that you want to hold on to philosophically? Back in something that happened in 2020, whether it's like you, Jamie, mentioning like the whole like older teachers saying give yourself grace, that you want to hold on to as you continue going forward. Because even though COVID was a hot mess, we there was a lot of positives as we shared. Is there anything that philosophically you want to hold on to as you go into 2026 and beyond?
I can go first if that helps. Um, I was gonna say that in year three, I was very concerned about hitting every standard and trying to keep up with the teachers who'd been teaching for 15 more years than I have, all of those things. And then during the process of it, I've just come to realize that it's not really important to get through everything. It's more important how the students feel and just it's okay to pick up your cat and be like, look at my cat and look at, like what Jamie was saying. Those things, those make the classroom a safer place for everyone. And I think that it's okay to just kind of go off what you had planned if you have to do that. And so I've been better about just saying, well, okay, well, I guess Professor YouTube's going to teach this part of the lesson because I lost my voice and, those types of things that it's okay, as Jamie was saying, grace. But for me, it's very much more about the relationships than the content.
Hmm. I hear you there. And especially since we just talked about this last week, it's been fresh in my mind. And also as I was trying to think about, oh no, I lost my face again. Um, I wonder if my battery died.
Oh, is
It
that
does
why
say
it's
low
showing the
battery on
battery?
Yeah,
there.
it does say low
Yeah.
battery. Well,
Oh
you get to
no.
hear my lovely voice as opposed to see my lovely voice.
Well, you could just put
Um,
a picture for when you talk, just put a picture of yourself up.
that's true.
That's
Yeah.
true.
When you turn off your
Yeah,
camera,
is there a
Like you
you
picture
can
can
of
show
you?
a
see your
picture.
face.
Yeah, exactly. Mine was me smiling with my dog. Yeah. And so like even though you couldn't see me live, you could still see me with my dog.
What was I saying? Shoot. Um,
S- Something about the curriculum?
no, we were just, yeah,
Oh,
we were talking about, yeah, this notion of focusing on grace and focusing on the content. Or Sasha, you can you paraphrase, or can you not paraphrase? Can you actually speak it?
Just that it's okay to not get it
Yes.
all done.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
and I've been struggling with this. Like, I agree with you. In the end, I think this is the impetus of what we should be doing. But also, I struggle with this, like as as education becomes much more placed upon a magnifying glass due to the powers that be, and excellence is constantly the word that's being used. Can we do both? And I think yes, but I think we need to. I really want to still hold on to this notion of like again. I think about this kid. I think about this kid who just said, "No, I don't want to be a light in darkness." Like, which was one of the lines that we were singing. I was like, "Okay, why?" Okay, and then that really just bothered me. Like, if we are just focusing on making sure our tone is good and we're getting the correct rhythms, like, but we're not actually teaching our students how to be good people, then what are we doing? Um, but I've been struggling with that just because of the way our world exists right now. And um, yeah, but I appreciate those words though, Sasha.
I definitely am in agreement with those statements. I feel like it does end up being more about the relationships. And you're gonna be with the our position, we're seeing them next year. If we don't build good relationships this year, then we see them again next year and the year after. And the year after, what are you gonna do? Huh? So we that's definitely an important part of it. And my philosophy was is to always have the children enjoy the participating in music making. I guess I also want to like mention my takeaway as well philosophically
Hmm.
about like being a better teacher. When COVID happened, we were talking about all the boot camp of PD and stuff. It wasn't about just about technology though, because let's be real, that was also the time when George Floyd happened and
Yes.
all the protests and a huge rise in anti-Asian hate. And so that was kind of the wake-up call for me. I Before then, I was aware. My family was never very being a second generation immigrant, coming from a family who when they first moved here, they were just surviving and assimilating. They didn't mention anything. They don't mention anything about like any of these controversial issues. So I ended up being very passive about it as well. I always thought, oh, if I add in multicultural stuff, then it'll be okay. Or as long as I try to like do this or do that. But COVID was also the that wake up call for me to do more and to do better. When you know better, you do better. And so a lot of that professional development was doing a lot of that work, attending a lot more Zooms, a lot more classes about my own identity of being Korean American. I took a lot of online Korean language classes. I also went to a lot of like different uh, local organization meetings of nonprofits, of like mutual aid groups, and starting to be more aware of my community, of what's happening in Sacramento, about the history and everything. And that's what I put into my teaching as well.
Mm.
And so ever since then, I've been on like that was also the boot camp for a lot of learning about what social justice education was, what the difference actually is between multiculturalism and social justice and culturally relevant teaching and pedagogy. And so I'm still working on it. It's never like, oh, I was done. I'm still working on it. I'm still improving upon it. But actually, I was just telling Jasmine and a few people this week that like some of some of the lessons that I taught through online through distance learning, I've brought it back into my room in person. And some of those examples are some books such as Drum Dream Girl. I hope this is not in the game later.
No
Drum
one
Dream
knows.
Girl Drum Dream Girl is one of them, about a Chinese Afro-Cuban girl who like beat the taboo against female drummers. Another one was called The Proudest Blue, about a girl's first time wearing a hijab to school and her experience about that. And so it was a boot camp of discovering all these books from culture bearers, learning the difference between like appropriation versus appreciation, and really working to get better and better and better at that, even going back into in-person teaching. And so and in that sense, I was able to develop better relationships with my students because when I started mentioning that on Zoom in our synchronous classes, there were just all these pop-ups of, oh, I can speak Spanish, or I can do this, or I can do that, or my parents do this, and trying to bring that back into in-person learning too, because it's also important, even in a different school, a different environment, they're doing the same thing. We're building relationships. So
Hmm.
I feel like that's one of the things that that I would take away along with all of the social emotional stuff, because that's kind of also when it started like popping up as a trendy word, even though
It's always
it's
there.
always been the case.
Yeah.
It's always been there.
Yeah.
We're just calling it social emotional learning now.
Mhm.
But
I
like same thing with social justice education and curriculum. Let's call it what it is, diversity, equity, inclusion, and everything.
and
We
access.
need
Yes.
it. We need it.
We
All of
do.
that, all those words.
I similarly I hear you. George Floyd, I feel like lit opened a lot of people's eyes. And I'm glad it's the reason why I'm friends with you, Jamie. Like, you aren't just someone who just posted a black square and then moved on. It's like, this is something that really, it was changing for all of us. And I'm glad that we have people that are bringing not just multiculturalism, but like bringing in the important stuff to our students. Yes, yes, call it what it is: diversity, equity, inclusion. Yes. Jasmine, how about you? Follow it up.
Oh man. For me, I think it was a lot of like never be afraid to ask questions. When I
Mm,
was in university, like I was always afraid of asking the wrong question. Where they'd be like, why are you asking me this? Like, what's the point? Whereas like for me, since I was starting student teaching online and I had some hybrid experience like a couple weeks, and then I went into, okay, you're in person with children, have fun, do your best. It was like I didn't know what to do, and it was okay for me to be like, I don't know. I'm trying something, I'm experimenting, and that's okay. And it's okay to experiment, and things might blow up in your face and things might go super well, but it's all a learning experience and being able to like collaborate with others and build on those relationships, not only with your students, but also with your staff.
mm,
Like the support I get from the staff of like, hey, we're working on this. I'm wondering maybe we can incorporate it into music class. How about we collaborate on it? Or I'm having a performance with the cheer team at this school. Can your band come and join in? That'd be awesome. But building those collaborations and building those relationships. But I feel like for me, like I had major imposter syndrome coming in of like, I've never even taught real children and I have my credential. Like this was crazy. So for me, it was like a lot of like, don't be afraid to ask questions, but also don't be afraid to go to trainings and ask those questions. Like go to the people who know things and be like, I don't know, I'm confused. Please help me. Because that's really, I feel like what helped me improve a lot was like me going up to Jamie or a lot of like our mentor teachers and being like, I don't know what to do. I'm lost. I tried this and a fight started in my room and I don't know what to do. Like what's the protocol here? Where am I supposed to go? Or me even going up to my principal being like, "Hey, I don't know how to work with the student. You've seen them more often. Could you help me out with this?"
mm.
Yeah, we've all been there. We're all in this.
Yes, we are. Yeah, I think that's what for me, reflecting on this conversation in and of itself, just it's the people. It's people. Like, I go back to that element of working with my former roommate on just doing a simple mirroring dance with him, and like it wasn't about perfection. It was about just working with a person and forming a bond. And that's, yes, there are the important standards for us to hit. There are important things we want our students to become, excellent in their art, but also like if we're missing the personhood, like, and we're missing the community. That was like also that's something we had a really good coordinator. Mark, I love you, um, and you did great stuff, Mark. But Lauren. Lauren did amazing stuff to bring us during this time, during a really hard time, to help us feel like a community. Um, so yeah, it's the people that matter. Well, speaking of people, thank you so much, guys, for being a part of this conversation. I appreciate you spending this time to chat about it. We're going to chat a little more, you listeners, but first we got a break.
I want to take a quick break and thank my husband Bryan, who's been working behind the scenes producing these episodes every week on all of the platforms and on time. But you need to know that he is first a financial planner for Mission Trails Financial. Mission Trails Financial is a partner that seeks to guide clients in the journey to financial success. They believe that people need a financial advisor that aims to provide strategies for success. Mission Trails Financial helps people navigate investments, tax planning, and insurance. Imagine working with an advisor who isn't tied to specific brands. Mission Trails Financial has a fiduciary responsibility to act in the best interests of their clients by providing independent, objective advice. Their mission is to help clients accomplish their financial goals. As Joe Vitale once said, a goal should scare you a little and excite you a lot. Do yourself a favor and set up a time to chat with Mission Trails Financial. Visit www.missiontrailsfinancial.com or call 619-419-0238 to schedule a call. You'll be glad you did. We believe that leaning on professionals is how we get ahead. Check out the program notes for more information.
Welcome back, everyone. But before we get to our next segment, a hard left turn, thank you everybody so much for being a part of this 100+ episode journey. Whether you join us back with episode 0 with Lauren Shelton, or when we had our Arosa crew for the first time, or today, thank you all. It means a ton to hear from you and share your thoughts and just share the love about music education from y'all. And if you want this to keep on going, because this is a huge labor of love, support things that you love. It's a good mantra for anything, really. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/chclassroom, where you can get special merch and also other ideas for the classroom. But if you don't have a buck to toss our way, that is okay, especially during these economic times. But there are free ways to support us. You can leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Your kids have phones. Do it. Have them line up. It's like your exit ticket. Just hit that, 5-star. But also, if you can also like us on YouTube, follow us there. And these are small ways just to ensure that these mics and lights stay on and we can keep on doing our crazy, chaotic harmony thing. That all said, Sasha has now been 3 for 3 for
Oh, 2 for 2.
No, for being a part of this new segment.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, for being part of this new segment, which is
I
called.
thought I won 3 times. I was like, oh,
I
don't remember the third time.
This might be a third time. This can be a little different. So today we have 3 guests, and we're doing this game called Fake Sheet, where I have 10 books. Last week, I don't know if anyone caught it. I actually had 9. My apologies, but I have 10 books, and the goal is for the person to get at least 6 books correct. However, since we have 3 contestants, we are going to have them write true or false. Whoever gets the most points at the end wins the game.
Ooh, all right.
So, are you all ready? So,
yeah, I'm not competitive at all.
At all, whatsoever. And to our audio listeners, what they're going to do is they're going to write fake or real on some sort of paper or whiteboard, and that'll be their way of doing the thing. Okay, now I need to find my books. Where did my books go? No, there we are. Okay,
You had to write them right now.
I had to write them for beforehand. Okay, so the first book. Excuse me. The first book, The Snowy Day. Real book or fake book?
Do you want us to, are you going to go like 1, 2, 3, and then we all
Yes,
go at the same? Okay.
Yeah, so actually write down real or fake and show me thumbs up when you're ready. Then we'll do 1, 2, 3.
Are you sure it's not a snowy day? Or the snowy day?
Okay, he said in the past that it's not going to be like one word off.
Okay.
So, yeah, at least I think that's what he said.
If I am wrong, I apologize, but I am what I have written down, whether it's real or fake, is The Snowy Day. All right, show me the boards in 3, 2, 1. Show me the boards. The Snowy Day, written by Ezra Jack Keats. Yeah. So everyone gets a points. Right now we have 1-1-1. Good job.
Wait, are we keeping our own score?
I mean, if you wish
On our
to.
system?
Well, dude, because you said whoever gets the most points, but then how do we know?
I'm writing down. I'm writing down.
Okay,
mine.
okay.
Thank you.
So right now it's 1-1-1. Jasmine, Jamie, Jasmine, Sasha. Cool. All right. Next book. Portillo the Wiener Dog. Real book or fake book? Portillo the Wiener Dog. Real or fake? Show me thumbs up when you're ready. All right, show me the boards in 3, 2, 1. Show me. Fake from to our audio listeners. Portillo the Wiener Dog, written by Greg Miller.
What?
So it's a real book. It is not. So
Portillo.
Portillo.
That's just such an interesting
So
name.
Are you sure it's not Portillo?
No, it's Portillo. And so this is actually a book that a podcast I listened to. The host wrote It's out in
Oh,
the public. Portillo is based off of a restaurant chain from Chicago, and so, anyways,
Oh, that's why it's out of state.
Interesting.
it's out of
Okay,
state.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yes,
we're all still even here.
it is
It's
still
It's
okay.
true.
even.
It's true.
1-1-1. Next off, triangle. Real book or fake book? Triangle. Real or fake? Show me a thumbs up when you're ready. All right, Shimon boards in 3, 2, 1. Shimon boards.
Real?
We have real, real, and real. Triangle, written by John Clausen. So far,
oh.
it is 1-1-1.
I thought you were
Okay.
gonna say John Seligman. I was like, no.
I was like, oh my God.
So the thing is, if everyone,
Sorry.
just keeps on doing the same thing, everyone wins or everyone loses.
Oh, wait. Which one is it gonna be?
Everyone wins. I'm still workshopping this for next season. Next season's where we're gonna actually do something a little more consistent. We'll figure it out.
Yay.
All right,
So it's still
cool.
in the works.
It's still in the works. Right now, everyone is 2 out of 3. Okay, moving on. Wash, wash, wash. Real book or fake book? Wash, wash, wash. Real book or fake? Thumbs up. All right, Shimon boards in 3, 2, 1, and Shimon. Wash, wash, wash. Written by Jonathan Seligman. It is fake, fake. But everyone's not the same. All y'all have like the same, like,
Women
mindset.
supporting women.
I mean, y'all, that's
I
okay.
don't know. It sounds like it would be a really good book for us to not even like
I
wash,
agree.
wash,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Scrub,
It would be a good music lesson.
I mean, then it is written by Jamie Jun, Jasmine Mah, and Sasha Stone. All right, next off. I own land. Do you? Real book? Show me the boards. I'm terrible on this. Yes, it is fake. It is fake. It is fake.
Like, really?
I mean, sticking with this whole theme of, last week we had let's hoard some wealth.
Yeah.
Thankfully,
John.
Sasha knew. Sometimes you just gotta laugh. Sometimes you just gotta laugh at the sadness. Moving on. All
LOL.
Oh,
right. Next off, the silence that binds us. Real book or fake book? The silence that binds us. Show me the boards in 3, 2, 1. Show me. So far, they've said it's real, real, real. The answer is The Silence That Binds Us, written by Joanna Ho. So everyone gets a point there. Cool, cool. So it is 4-all. Man,
oh my gosh, we're all like-minded.
goodness.
We're
Oh,
all so
same.
like-minded
I
so
am loving
far. We're like halfway through, right?
Yeah, we've done 6, 5.
5.
We've done 5. No, 6, 6, 6, 6.
6?
It's so
Okay.
far.
6.
'Cause we
Uh-oh.
got 2 wrong.
That's true. I have not
Oh.
written enough books down. Uh-oh.
That's right. Oh.
So give me no, I still have a couple before, but I want to make sure I get enough.
I guess we might end up all winning or all losing.
I'll have to just devise some sort of like tiebreaker.
What?
Not for this round, obviously, because I don't have anything ready.
Phew. It would be nice if we all won.
Okay, cool. Moving on. Okay, whatever. The Wonderful Things You'll Be. Real book or fake book? The Wonderful Things You'll Be. Show me the boards in 3, 2, 1. Show me.
Oh,
We've got a split.
finally.
Disagreement.
We got a
Okay.
split.
Right now, Jamie and Jasmine say real.
no.
Sasha says fake.
Oh no.
The Wonderful Things You'll Be. Written by Emily Winfield Martin.
No.
Oh, so it is 5-5-4.
It sounds familiar.
Does sound-
Yeah.
I was like, is this a spin-off of All the Places You'll Go? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
John's
no.
like, I'm just
Uh-huh.
like,
Uh-huh.
John's like, I'm gonna get her. Me.
Let's see here. Cool. All right. Next off, Above the River. Real book or fake book? Above the River. Above the River. Show me the boards in 3, 2, 1. Show me. Ooh. Right now we have Jamie, Jasmine, and I'm sorry, Jamie and Jasmine say fake. Sasha says real. Above the River. Written
Oh
by
no.
Jonathan Seligman.
No.
Oh
No.
no. So Team
All right,
Rosa
I'll
is
remove
splitting ahead.
myself.
I mean, it is still anybody's game, technically. They
True.
can get these
No, I'm
last.
2 out.
Can Sasha
No,
still catch up?
she
But
can
we can
still
get
tie.
two. We
She
can
can
get
s-
two
Oh,
tie is
wrong.
possibility.
that's true. It's true. Don't give up.
I
All right.
never give up.
Never surrender.
Never surrender.
Pat the Bunny. Pat the Bunny. Real book or fake book?
John, I just have lost all sense of reality
It's
at this
late.
point.
I get it. I get it. It's late. But Pat the Bunny. Show me the boards in 3, 2, 1. Show me.
Hey.
Ugh.
Everyone says fake. Pat the Bunny. Written by Dorothy Kuhnhart. Oh, a real book.
Wait, is it Pat like the name of the bunny, or is it
Yes,
Pat the
Pat
bunny
is.
like Pet the bunny?
No, not. Well, I'm guessing it's the name of the bunny. I just did a quick search because I didn't have enough books. So no one gets a point there.
Well,
All
what
right.
did you search? What was your
Oh.
search? I'm just curious. What was-
Children's picture books. So I was going through things that I know you know some of them, so I'm not going to do that. But who knows? All right, last one. I am enough. I am enough. Show me the boards in 3, 2, 1. Show me. Sasha's dead face. Real.
Well,
I am enough.
It was from our chat.
Written by. Written by. Grace Byers. What were you gonna say, Sasha? Sasha, what?
Lisa did that book last weekend.
Yes, she did. Yeah. So the
I was
answer.
at an advantage there.
Well, yeah, that is true. So the score was 7-7-5. Jamie and Jasmine, you win. Yes, you win. So what you win this time is because I need to figure it out. I need to figure this out. This is all so far. You win a point. You win a point.
Sticker.
A sticker. A dojo point. There we go.
Our
'Cause we're gonna-
tiebreaker is the video game.
Ooh.
Who is it?
But what if Genesis wins?
I already
What if I win?
voted.
Oh, that's
No, you're not gonna
true.
win, John.
Oh. Wow. Did you vote yet, Sasha?
I already did. Yeah.
Can
Yeah.
I mute you? How do I mute you?
No.
Awesome.
You can kick me out. Send me to the breakout room.
Put her in the breakout room.
Or what if I instead ask you, how can people reach out to you, Sasha?
I'm so sorry. My email, my school email is sasha.stone@smusd. I've been posting some stuff on YouTube recently, which is
Hey.
Miss Stone Music. It's nothing fancy. It's just I've been making videos to use in my classroom, and it's so much easier than doing it from Drive. So,
Sure.
don't judge me. I recorded a video without a voice. It sounds terrible.
But hey, we just talked about it's all about community, so
Correct.
we all love you.
And I think my Instagram is Miss Stone Music.
Cool. How about you,
Ta-da.
Jasmine?
You can find me on Instagram on rice flour, which is like flour like the food, not like the plant.
I love that caveat all the time. It's important, mind you. It's important.
Yeah.
How about you, Jamie?
You can find me.
Fancy.
If for the non-video viewers, listeners, you can find me on Instagram at JMEJUNE. It's the incorrect way to say my name, Jamie June. I've just leaned into it over the years.
Jimmy June. And you can find me at Mr. Seligman, MRSELAGMAN on all the socials. You can also find us at CH Classroom. We'll be posting all the time And if you want to email us, you can email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail.com, especially if you want to email us before next week's episode where we talk about our 100th episode. So please do that. But all y'all, share us your thoughts on what happened during COVID. I'd love to hear it. And hopefully you got through it. And thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
The Chaotic Harmony podcast is a joint project between Crystal Pridmore and Jonathan Seligman. You can find us online at chaoticharmonyclassroom.com. You can email us at chaoticharmonyclassroom@gmail and let us know what you think. Give us feedback about what you would like to hear in future episodes. We're on all the socials. Find us on facebook.com/chaoticharmonyclassroom. You can find us on Twitter at @chclassroom, Instagram at chaoticharmonyclassroom, and you can even find our episodes on YouTube. Chaotic Harmony is the name of our channel. Special thanks to Bryan Pridmore for his help with production and equipment. www.pridmoria.com.
I'm gonna kick my cats out. Give me
Sure.
1 second.
That's fine. I need to make some fake books right now.
They're gonna be little menaces if I don't.
Oh, that's my cats.
All right, we got to synchronize our claps so that he knows when to record it. Ready?
Synchronized class. What? Jamie, you lead it.
3, 2, 1.